From Stillwater, welcome to Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. A big-time scene for a big-time rivalry in the 114th edition of Bedlam as Oklahoma and Oklahoma State face off once again. Welcome inside. It'll be quite a scene tonight. The 114th time these programs have met up, and it will be a packed house as Oklahoma sitting at number 7 in the country, coming off 3 very close wins, looking for a 5th consecutive win in this rivalry. And Oklahoma State not to be outdone, sitting at 8-3. They've got a chance quietly for a 4th 10-win season over the last 5 years. It'd be a 7th 10-win season in the last decade under Mike Gundy. One thing he's failed to do, though, is consistently beat his in-state rival. He is 2-12 against Oklahoma. Yeah, looking for his first win against the Sooners since 2014. Started this season 4-3. They're 8-3 now, 5-3 in the Big 12. They've won 8 of their last 11 against ranked opponents, 2 of the last 3 against the top 10. And one of the great environments in college football. They are right on top of you here in Stillwater. Ready to enter this cage under the lights. The 114th edition of Bedlam. Number 7 Oklahoma. Number 21 Oklahoma State. And we take you to break with our Progressive Insurance Game Countdown. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State coming up next on Fox. A series that started in 1904. Oklahoma's won 4 straight. They've won 88 of the 113 matchups all time, and lately it's been defined by offense. Last 2 matchups, nearly 2,800 yards combined, 209 points between the 2 teams. They both bring in good offenses into this one. The 114th edition. Oklahoma State won the toss and deferred, so Oklahoma will receive it to begin. Set, and off we go from Stillwater. Trey Brown bringing it back for the Sooners. Steps out of a tackle and gets tripped up, crossing the 20. The beginning of the 22-yard line with a grad transfer from Alabama, Jalen Hurts. 36-3 as a starter now between the 2 programs. He's the third player in NCAA history with 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards over the first 11 games of the season. He's played in plenty of big games. Went 2-1 in the Iron Bowl. He's 1-0 so far in the big rivalry games at Oklahoma, beating Texas earlier this season. His first and only Bedlam begins right now. From the 22-yard line, they start things off with a run for Kennedy Brooks. Brooks is close to a first down, stopped by the leading tackler for Oklahoma State, Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah, this O-line's been a little bit up and down, but not Creed Humphrey right in the middle of it. He sets the tone. He is really the voice of that Sooner group up front, and CD's the explosive playmaker. Chuba's a home run hitter. Well, so is Lamb on the other side.
One of the top offenses in the country, 45 points per game for the Sooners. As Hurts looks to throw for the first time, a man comes free, and a catch made by Nick Basquin. The sixth-year senior from Norman, who was held without a catch in the win against TCU last week, has one here for 23.
Yeah, the six-year player that's overcome a couple of Achilles injuries, and you know how big this is and how meaningful it is for him. And Jalen just putting enough air to get over the underneath coverage there. Those were a couple shots he missed last week down the field. I think that's a huge key over the course of this game. Can he hit his shots down the field?
Here's Brooks again with a stiff arm. Gets some room and a first down. Kennedy Brooks inside the 30. Against this Oklahoma State defense, we mentioned it briefly off of the top. Struggled early on, but they've been playing really well the last month or so.
And a big piece of that stopping the run, and that's not been the case thus far. You see the true freshman there, Trace Ford, in the middle. You know, our two difference makers. Amen is a guy that runs sideline to sideline, and look at the career starts outside. Williams and Green will be playing a bunch of man-to-man coverage. They've got to find a way to slow down the run with the 9 others.
Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, said if those two guys play as well as they're capable of, they've got a good shot. Hurts with a straight drop, takes his eyes down, takes off. Jalen Hurts, this is what he does best. Just like that, touchdown Oklahoma. From 28 yards out, and it takes them less than 2 minutes to find the end zone.
Well, one thing you cannot do against an experienced quarterback that is a tremendous runner is turn your back. Watch the Cowboys defensively. The minute Hurts reads man-to-man coverage, he knows there's not even a spy in this case. He knows he's got an opportunity to beat one, and he's gone.
He's carried it 55 times over the last 2 games as Oklahoma's gone more and more towards a run-heavy attack. 64 run plays for 366 yards last week, and a heavy dose on the ground here on the first drive.
And you better disguise a whole bunch better than that. You better stop the run and make this team one-dimensional. And that was an enormous drive for the Sooners right out the gate, and disappointing for Oklahoma State, who's been playing much more sound. You can see his eyes. He sees man-to-man coverage, a single safety, and the minute that shallow cross runs in front of him, he does what he's very comfortable doing, and that's tucking and running.
Lincoln Riley's team needed just 4 plays to get in. He's in his 5th season in this program. Over the first 4 years, Oklahoma's averaged better than 50 points in this game.
Nothing in that drive would lead you to believe it's going to be different tonight. The only thing different is that is his 18th rushing touchdown. Jalen does even more damage on the ground than his predecessors.
Well, it's half of what we've seen in Bedlam through the years. A lot of offense from Oklahoma. The other half has been a lot of offense from Oklahoma State. Last 2 matchups in this series, 62-52 and 48-47. This one returnable from inside the 10. Braden Johnson trying to get around the corner. Their fastest player is able to salvage something out of it. Oklahoma State takes the field for the first time offensively, and we bring in Bruce Feldman.
Hi, Joe. The Cowboys have produced more than their share of terrific running backs, but when Chuba Hubbard was growing up in Canada, he actually found inspiration before all of his games by watching video of a Sooner legend. Hubbard told me this week that when he was about 10 years old, he started watching video of Adrian Peterson before all his games, and it became his routine. He said he was just so explosive. He was like a bucking horse who could cut on a dime. Hubbard also said he hadn't watched it in a while, and he pointed it out. This was Adrian Peterson when he played for the Vikings, not for the Sooners, just in case Oklahoma State fans are wondering about that.
Well, they give it to Hubbard on the first play. It is a minimal gain as he's dropped by Neville Gallimore. Out of Edmonton, Arrived in 2017. He was the fourth stringer at the time, and so he redshirted. Became the starter down the stretch last year when Justice Hill went down with an injury. 15 career starts, 13 of them he's rushed for 100 or more. The quarterback Drew Brown, second start in an Oklahoma State uniform, and he hits Hubbard out of the backfield. Now Brown, who started his career at the junior college level at the College of San Mateo, then went to Hawaii, was a starter for 2 seasons there, but wanted a chance at the big time, and so came to Oklahoma State, lost out on the job last year, lost out on the job again this year, and it was looking like his career here was going to come to a close without getting his shot. Spencer Sanders has the injury. Brown gets his chance last week against West Virginia and played really well. One
of those marvelous stories that you just never know when it's your time, either out of high school through junior college, and what a moment for him and a stage to perform.
On 3rd and short, it's Hubbard finding a seam for an Oklahoma State first down. Carries it 26 times per game, and this group up front is going to need to pave the way for him tonight.
Yeah, and that was a little guard pull there with Marcus Keys. He has started 48 games for these Cowboys. The left guard, an all-conference performer, I think will be again here in the 2019 season. Some moving pieces outside. Dylan Stoner has stepped up. All 5 of his touchdown receptions, they've been this month. With the absence of Tylan Wallace, they needed Stoner to emerge, and he has.
Brown with a first down throw. It is Stoner on the screen. Spun his way away from the first man, but still lost a yard as Delarian Turner-Yell and Marquez Overton came up to stop him.
Well, Chuba's not the only Canadian star in this game. You got one right in the middle of that Oklahoma defense in Neville Gallimore. The senior's played a ton of ball and is very, very active. An active group at the second level with Kenneth Murray as well. And a secondary that's been beleaguered that's going to have to run and tackle tonight.
Hubbard into the short side with room, and Chuba hits the sideline into Oklahoma territory for his first big play of the day. Goes for 22, first down Cowboys.
We talk about Marcus Keys, the left guard. Look at him get to the second level. That's all you got to do. You don't need to pancake block. You don't need to maul people. Simply get on the edges of these Sooner defenders and allow Chuba to explode. The guy is a glider with incredible power. And those yards he just churns for.
You know, Brock, they say that while he's otherworldly fast, the guy that comes in for him here, L.D. Brown, has raced him several times and beaten him several times. He's in there to block as Brown gets rid of it, finds a crossing Johnson, and Braden Johnson is inside the 10. It's 1st and goal, Oklahoma State.
This has been part of the challenge here for Oklahoma defensively. You don't even need good play action pass. Bat goes the other way. And just too much speed crossing the face there of Trey Brown, the corner, who could never catch up.
Braden Johnson, high school track champ in Arlington, Texas. Better than 20 yards per catch this season. Goes for a big one there. On 1st and goal, here's L.D. Brown stepping away from Radley Hiles inside the 5 to the 3, and it's 2nd and goal. There's the redshirt junior from Dallas, who hasn't seen much time just because Chuba carries so much of the load, shows off what he can do.
Yeah, and these two offenses are showing off what they're all about. I think I've heard you say track about 4 different times. Get some cinder blocks. Get these guys out there, man. We got some speedsters in Stillwater.
Hubbard comes back in on 2nd and goal. Alex Grinch, first season as the D coordinator, has completely turned this defense around, although the last few weeks, I'm not sure what you're going to get. Boom or bust defensively. Here's Hubbard. Breaks a tackle, reaches for the goal line. He's in for the Oklahoma State touchdown. And 6 minutes into the game, Brock, Bedlam gonna bedlam, huh? All offense.
And a bunch of it on the ground. 3 big cowboy backs, they call them, for Oklahoma State. They block down, they pull around. And as I said, you don't have to be dominant in those blocks. You just simply have to try to get a hat on a hat. And he's not just about speed. He is about power as well, as he's finished so many of those touchdown runs this season.
20 consecutive games where they'd scored at least 34. Looking at 3rd and 6 here. Four options into the near side for Hurts. Oklahoma State brings pressure. Hurts stands in, lofting for Lamb. End zone! He can't get it. Incomplete, fourth down. Sterling in coverage. What a job to get that hand in there.
I would say pretty sterling coverage, because
Nice.
most safeties, Joe, what do in that situation against one of the nation's best receivers? They panic. Right, they go to the body, they interfere. He didn't. Trey watched the eyes, he watched the hands come up, and just the right time, he knocks that ball away.
Tell you what, there are some really good kickers in college football this year, and this is one of them. Gabe Burkich, the redshirt freshman, coming right into your living room and is still perfect. 13 for 13 this season for a guy who wasn't even the starter to begin the year. 8 in the loss against Kansas State, 41 in the narrow win against Iowa State, and 31 in the first half against Baylor.
And it's a consistency, just series in and series out, right? It's 3 good plays is their messaging repeatedly over this last month.
Heavy dose of pass on this drive. Here's Johnson again. He's got a first down, but the ball comes out, and Oklahoma's got it. Parnell Motley, who's looking for redemption in this Bedlam game after he was benched against Oklahoma State a year ago, has the recovery for the Sooners.
And that is the great neutralizer. And you're going to see Motley come in, and maybe, well, the other veteran on the other side got benched for kind of losing his mind a little bit. Motley does exactly what you would expect a senior to do. And that is with the receiver that has stood up, you go in and you reach and you claw and you tear for that football. And this Oklahoma defense simply does that. They find takeaways. They may find themselves in the playoff.
Because that has been one of the underlying stories of this roller coaster campaign for the defense. Only 5 teams nationally have forced fewer this season.
And they went a dry spell of, what, 2 months?
Yeah. They rip it out of there.
And I think for Braden Johnson on that side, there's just got to be a little reminder, man, in the magnitude of this game, with all of the emotion and energy, you have got to take care of the football. It is the most precious commodity of all in this building.
And for Oklahoma State, they've been so much better at taking care of the ball over the last few games as they've won 4 in a row. Sooners take over at the 44-yard line. Kennedy Brooks gets 3. Already the 7th run for Kennedy Brooks, and this one breaks for a big one inside the 35. Let's check in now with Amber Theo Harris in Los Angeles. Of course, Oklahoma fans, big Colorado fans tonight. All day to throw, and Hurts takes advantage. A strike to Lee Morris to make it 1st and goal.
And there's that zone coverage again, really after being gashed early in that man-to-man. Cowboys have gone to zone, trying to get eyes into the backfield, but not a deep enough drop. Right, and that is a perfectly executed play. Quarterback drops it over the linebackers and the safeties, and right in front of the free safety back there, where one of the best interception makers, Harbell Peel, has no chance as Lee Morris delivers yet again.
1st and goal from the 6. It's Hurts. Trey Sterling brings him down. So it will be 2nd and goal for Oklahoma when the 2nd quarter begins. They've got a 10-7 lead, looking for their 4th consecutive win and looking for the 4th time in 5 years to rally from a loss to have a case for the college football playoff. Welcome back to Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve, as we get ready to start the 2nd quarter in a 10-7 game, in Oklahoma looking at 2nd and goal. Offset is Brooks. In motion is Lamb. They toss it to him. It's the reverse. Basquin throws, and it's Hurts for the touchdown. Lincoln Riley digging into the bag of tricks for the score.
I don't even know if we can call this Philly special anymore because everybody has branded it. And there's a little bit of risk associated with this on a windy night, right? All the ball handling that it requires to go to CeeDee Lamb and then the pitch to Basquin, and you can watch Jalen sell it pretty easily. That little pitch has some high risk, and then Basquin puts it right on the money.
No receiver doesn't think about the wind when he's throwing. That spiral cuts right through it. And Hurts adds a receiving touchdown to his ledger.
This Lincoln Riley guy, he's had #1 offenses year after year after year for a reason because, man, he knows how to call it. 5.5 quarters. He's shown why it was a really good competition through the spring and in the training camp for the QB job. And really, Spencer won it because of his legs, his ability to run. But Drew is a competent player. He's playing confidently, and I see him distributing the ball to everybody tonight.
He's 8 for 9. The one incompletion was a drop that was thrown perfectly. Facing pressure here. Scans the field. Now he rolls and gets rid of it. A poor decision, and it's picked off by Parnell Motley. Motley stays on his feet to the 31. Just when we're talking about the good decision making for the senior, he throws it right to Motley. And back-to-back turnovers for Oklahoma State.
And have yourself a night, Parnell. He has the strip fumble on the previous possession. Does he catch this inbounds? That will be the only question. And I think that is worth another look.
Rolling on the field is an interception, and that the interceptor stayed in bounds. We'll review the play.
College football fans know well at this point. Key is, what was the call on the field? The call on the field is that he was in bounds. My knee-jerk reaction is that that is too close to overturn.
I would agree with you.
Flags fly. Perhaps so much for that option.
False start. Offense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That was Brandon Cassidy, or Braden Cassidy, a defensive lineman who would also come in.
He's right here in that movement, and you said it right there. He's a D lineman, and when those D linemen for Oklahoma moved pre-snap, which is what they do, took advantage of the tight end.
So they spread it out again. 3rd and goal from the 8. They still hand it off, and Chuba's going nowhere. Surrounded by Sooners. First man there was Ronnie Perkins. Cowboys have used their final timeout, and the field goal team will take the field.
That's a long ways to go with all of that humanity between the tackles. Credit the Sooners for making the stop.
I got you something.
Even though we just started dating, I find you so captivating, and I'm done with hesitating.
Let's see where this goes.
This holiday, save on a gift that says it all during Jared's Black Friday sale.
Only a jet.
Just enough to get it in from 43 earlier. This one from 25 and straight on. It hooks through. And Oklahoma State is within a touchdown as this game goes to halftime. And the Cowboys will have it to open half number 2. 20-13. We get you to Mike Hill and Dave Wanstead in Los Angeles for the State Farm halftime show.
Three-man rush, steps up, fires over the middle. The pass is caught by Tyler Wallace in the end zone. Do you go for 2 or do you go for the tie? Rolling right, looking, throws, and it is incomplete. The Sooners survive Bedlam.
By the career game from Taylor Cornelius, more than 500 yards. Oklahoma hung on, stopping that 2-point conversion. Trey Brown into open space, but this is coming back. Brown lost it, but out of bounds. This is going to be very poor starting field position for the Sooners. Oklahoma, one of the most heavily penalized teams in the conference. Pretty clean game tonight, both sides. This would be just the 4th penalty.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 7, penalized half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
And you could see Trey on that return at the very end, right? Like a center fielder in some of those windy conditions, just having to adjust in the last second. Right, we were talking to Bruce there during the break, and he said that deep ball for Jalen, he tried to launch it into the wind, but I am telling you, it is playing and is going to play a role, I think, in some of the decision making in the special teams phase. Some of those shots down the field, your willingness to take them, and my hunch is this drive is going to start on the ground and be dominated on the ground.
As it often has been the last few weeks for these Sooners, coming off a game where they ran it 66 times. Pretty balanced so far tonight, although they didn't run heavy again. It is Brooks with a hole on 1st down, and he gets him some breathing room. And then some, gain of 15.
And this is the GT that Mike Gundy was talking about, the guard tackle polling, right? The counter play. Watch the guard and the tackle get out in front of this play. Right, you block down, you pull the guard and tackle. It is the staple of Bill Bedenbaugh's system. They do it more than anybody else, right? In that defeating that initial block, you got to do it through penetration, or you got to run down the backside. One of the two things, and the Cowboys, well, they're not getting it done.
Brooks again. How about Kennedy Brooks moving to 100 yards tonight very quietly? 11 carries and 100 yards for Brooks.
Been kind of a quiet season because the touchdowns haven't been there. 12 of them a year ago in his 1,000-yard season, just 3 this year. But with the loss of Trey Sermon, his activity is picked up here down the stretch. And he's showing you the threat he can be as well.
Mentioned it earlier, 165 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys last year, and having another big one here in Stillwater. On 2nd and 8, he's got it again, hits the hole hard and gets stopped by Tyler Lacey. It's 3rd down. Oklahoma State's been the better 3rd down team so far tonight. 3rd and 3 for the Sooners. Hurts looking to throw. He's given time all day. Now it starts to break down. Hurts in trouble, able to sneak through and get a 1st down. Somehow to extend the drive.
Well, I'll tell you, set in rhythm earlier in that 1st half. In rhythm, he should have thrown the swing to his left. He never gets there in rhythm. Instead, he holds it, and at that point, he is just looking for any space. And as powerful and as strong as he is at 220 pounds, he's got a way of just finding the will to move those chains, why this team is so good on 3rd down.
One of the best in the country. On 3rd down this season, above 50%. First down from the 33. Back to the ground, and Kennedy Brooks. Room off the left side. He spins to the 39, and a gain of 6 and a stop from Rodriguez. Couple of bodies crash into the ground after the play. And the officials doing a good job of getting between them.
And this is a little bit of how the Cowboys have played this season defensively.
Bend, bend, bend.
Yes, and see if you can put it and sustain a drive of a lot of plays.
Hurts off play action, steps up in a crowded pocket, finds Jeremiah Hall for a big gain into Oklahoma State territory. He carries defenders all the way to the 36. 29 yards for the H-back.
I said to you earlier, he had a little swing route that he could have got to early on that 3rd down progression. This time he gets through his read quickly, and he puts the ball in Hall's hands, who knows how to do damage.
Speaking of quickly, they're right back on it. In rhythm to the sideline. CeeDee Lamb against A.J. Green, close to a 1st down.
We have watched these Sooners a bunch, and it really is amazing. If they can just get completions for Jalen, right, just get the ball out of his hand, if his first option is there, or if he can quickly work through his progression, this team is different. I mean, they are almost impossible to defend in that way. It's when he holds it, right, that this offense seems to bog down.
A few times tonight he's held it a little bit too long. Oklahoma State's gotten 3 sacks. Brooks bounce into the outside, using the speed to get the corner. Angled out by Sterling. First down at the 11.
There it is again, that GT concept, that counter play that is just given Oklahoma State fits. You pull the guard and tackle around. The adjustment others have made. Baylor, Iowa State, they've been chasing, either chasing from the backside or, as I said earlier, puncturing that front side block. The Cowboys are doing neither. They're on their heels, and Kennedy Brooks is running free.
Behind Proctor and Hayes that time, and 40 yards on this drive to run his total on the night to 122. It's Brooks again, behind Proctor again.
So there is a slight adjustment, and there's a 4-down front. Right, just putting an extra body there on the line of scrimmage because the same play's coming right at you, and I love that from Lincoln Riley. To me, the best coordinators are not the ones that always get too cute. If you're having success, keep calling it. You call it until they stop it, and then you know what? They make an adjustment. They go 4 down, and watch what Lincoln will do. He will see that, and then he will adjust. That's what the best play callers do.
You asked him this week, is it hard to stay patient when they're playing back, when they're just playing those 3-man fronts? And Lincoln said, you know what? Truthfully, no. Brooks again. Stays on his feet to the 2. Rodriguez all that kept him from scoring. 3rd down and 1 for Oklahoma.
This is where this stadium has to create some havoc.
They call it 3rd and 2. And Oklahoma State given time to sub because Oklahoma changed personnel. Hurts ducks under center. And a timeout for Lincoln Riley. Ran all the way up to the line of scrimmage to get that timeout in.
Let's see what Jalen can do.
6'2", 220 pounds. So tough, so strong. On 3rd and 2, he's in the backfield with Brooks. It is Brooks straight ahead. Touchdown, Oklahoma. He carried the load on a 93-yard drive, and he gets the glory.
A tidal wave of humanity. Watch this group here. Simply watch this play down and allow Kennedy to go crazy. Look at this movement. Look at that. Look at that surge right there. That surge that allows him to just plow right behind it and finish.
Jeremiah Hall, the H-back, who had a long reception on that drive, at a key block on that play. And the left side of the line, which was key the entire drive, does it again. 11 plays, 93 yards. 8 of those 11 plays were Kennedy Brooks runs, including the touchdown that puts Oklahoma back in front by 2 scores.
Tonight,
Buki, as they call him, is playing a good game tonight, leading the team in tackles. On 3rd and 6, they move Hubbard behind the center, takes the direct snap, comes straight downhill, and gets pulled down by Kenneth Murray. 4th down and a long 2. The minute 40 and counting in this 3rd quarter on a very windy night. They'll keep the offense on the field and bring 2 more tight ends in.
And that was a good play by K9 to sort through traffic and make that tackle. I do think with these conditions and in this wind and near in the 4th quarter, this is the right decision.
Converted a couple 4th downs last week. And good on 4th down all season. On 4th and 3, it's play action. Brown retreating. Throw into the sideline, incomplete, and Oklahoma comes up with a stop. David Agwebu was all over the intended receiver.
He sure was. And that is 2 really good plays by that true freshman right there. They ran a reverse earlier. He kept containment. And this time on a heavy run action. Look at the heavy tight ends in. He feels it. He drops back into his coverage. He can feel that receiver. He never loses sight, and that's big time.
Defending Logan Carter, who has just 4 catches all season.
In that position, Nick Benito, David Agwebu, they played that spot. Remember, Benito had the huge game-clinching saved interception against Baylor, and that 4th down could prove awfully big in this one.
And now does Oklahoma try to lean on him again. 9 of the 11 plays on the 93-yard touchdown drive a moment ago were runs. 8 of them from Brooks. Quarterback draw. Hurts got tripped up.
Yeah, by his own guy right there. Adrian Ely, the big right tackle's heel. About the only thing to slow down this run game. And yeah, you stick with that run. And the other side is winning in some of those one-on-one battles outside. You're winning in the 5-on-5 battles right in those trenches.
Bring a safety down into the box here, and Trey Sterling, and he blitzes. Hurts running towards him. Bamiga can't bring him down at the spot that he got to him, but able to angle him out of bounds, and it's 3rd and short.
Maybe your favorite name to pronounce this season?
Once you get it down, it's a fun one.
Bamiga. Bamiga.
Got it.
The Canadian sensation sets up a huge 3rd down.
And 3 in the closing seconds of this 3rd quarter. Hurts. He's got enough. Now the final play of the 3rd quarter is a 3rd and 3 conversion for Jalen Hurts. Oklahoma up 2 scores, and with the ball to begin the 4th in Bedlam when you come back. Ready for the 4th quarter on Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And Oklahoma doing it again on the ground. Second half last week, 39 of the 46 plays they ran were run plays. 3rd quarter of this one, 14 of their 17 plays run plays. And they begin the 4th with a bubble to Charleston Rambo, who gets absolutely pummeled by Trey Sterling. A flag flies. And it makes you think targeting.
Defenseless player.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense number 3. The previous play is under further review.
Defenseless player clearly in the act of catching the ball. Then it becomes about forcible contact to the head or neck area. Is there a launch? Yes. Is there forcible contact to the head or neck area on a defenseless player? Yes. This should be quickly confirmed. And what you've got to teach Trey, and the stadium loves it, and defensive players love it.
Limit the damage to field goals. Keep this a 2-score game. Been a big night for Kennedy Brooks. Adds 2 or 3. Bamiga, another tackle.
You know, on Fox tomorrow, you're going to watch the Ravens and the 49ers go at it. You know what the Ravens and Lamar Jackson have become amazing at? Closers. When they have a lead in this 4th quarter, to just use that clock and pound people on the ground. And you can almost see the personality of this Sooner team liking this.
Because that has not been part of their personality in November. They have hung on as opposed to really finishing teams. In the hands of CeeDee Lamb. He's crunched by Harvell Peel. 3rd down, and we check in with Bruce.
Joe, you're talking about the personality change. At the start of the 4th quarter, the consistent message with almost every assistant coach to his group was close. Let's close this thing out. They feel like they have taken this over. They feel like they've imposed their will on their arch rival. Right now, this is a team that's trying to make a statement.
Yeah, and looking at a big 3rd and 5 here from the Oklahoma State 42. Receivers over there waving, hey, hold on. More coming in from Lincoln Riley. Here comes pressure. Hurts throws into it. Finds Nick Basquin for a 1st down.
And then what do you got to do? You got to sell out, and you got to bring a cover 0 blitz everybody and leave a one-on-one situation and so much space. Exactly what Jalen Hurts was looking for. You want to bring the blitz? Then we'll just play a little game of pitch and catch with that much cushion. And the 6-year senior can not only throw touchdowns, he can catch huge 3rd down conversions.
2nd catch tonight, 1st down at the 33. This is a free play. Hurts knows it. Launching Basquin, incomplete. But Trace Ford was way offside.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Should be right here. That's some frustration. You know, when you've been run at these last 2 snaps. Now you want to try to take advantage and try to take it out on that opponent, get a head start out of via blitz, or in that case with the rush. You can't.
Brooks right side. Carvel Peel brings him down with Rodriguez. Kennedy Brooks, after running for 165 and 3 scores against the Cowboys last year, has 139 and a touchdown tonight, and plenty more coming, you'd figure, as they try to grind this clock.
And that was that old GT once again. And just charting that play, you're right back at about 8-9 yards of play.
Pulling both Proctor and Hayes. 2nd and 1. Hurts will pull it. They're able to make Ogbongbemiga miss long enough to get a first down.
Yeah, one of our favorite lines of the season. You want to feel the soul of your opponent wilt. That's what Bill Beatonbow and that O-line, so many pros I know watching this game on Saturday night in hotel rooms all across the country that played for that man, and all of them celebrating Creed Humphrey and this O-line, looking at the technique, looking at the fundamentals, but most importantly, looking at them physically imposing their will and celebrating this batch of Sooner O-linemen.
About 70% run tonight for the Sooners. Again, behind a pulling guard and tackle, it's Brooks doing a little bit on his own, breaking multiple tackles and setting up first down and goal.
And you're going to see Fofana 97 here on the edge. He's trying to do what Mike Gundy wants him to do, and that's chase that play down. But he can't. And it's too good a blocking on the front side. It's the patience of Kennedy Brooks to allow Proctor, to allow Hayes. It's hard to do for those backs, and so many times you see young backs run up into the backs of those linemen. Brooks is trusting it. They're trusting this run game, and it's dominant.
Right about the situation Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma had TCU last week. A chance to put him away before the pick 6 that Hurts threw. Lincoln Riley came running in to try and avoid the delay, and he did get the timeout in.
Man, do I love this commitment to the run. And Lincoln Riley does too. I mean, he really didn't hesitate. Many times we can read these coaches, and I says, is it hard to keep running it? No, it's not. 72% run a week ago, 71% tonight. And whatever you've got to do to win, been a big theme around that place since 2014, especially in these Novembers.
Touchdown to make it a 3-score lead for the Sooners. Here comes CeeDee Lamb around the edge, trying to use his speed and then trying to use his strength. He's tucked his shoulder down. A.J. Green chopped him down, a gain of 1.
Yeah, and I know that CeeDee's a good soldier and he's a great teammate, and Lincoln will tell you that he doesn't care that he's not getting the number of touches, but you know what? Playmakers want the ball. He had a run in the first quarter. He's gotten very few touches in the passing game because the team's not committing to passing. And I think that was trying to appease the superstar just a little.
Play action. Wide open in the flats for the 3rd consecutive week. Braden Willis has a touchdown. And the Sooners pulling away from Oklahoma State.
Yeah, about as easy as it gets here. You get in those bunch formations and that inside receiver. So hard for those defenders that are selling out run, just lose their eyes. And Willis, the beneficiary. This is impressive, Joe. I mean, this is as impressive as these Sooners have looked in a long time.
10 plays, 73 yards. And they lead it by 3. Love tonight over the last month for Oklahoma, and for good reason. Since the loss to Kansas State, they've leaned more and more on their run game.
I think that was Bill Beatonbow and Creed Humphrey. Do you think that's what Bill looked like back in the day? It's cool.
Yeah.
Similar game, man. Just dominant. I love giving those O-linemen credit, especially when they take over games, as that group really has.
Well, Brock, before NFL games kick tomorrow, you can download the Fox Sports Super 6 app, play Super 6 NFL Sunday for free, and a chance to win Terry Bradshaw's money. Well, for Oklahoma State, you think, well, where's the offense gone? Well, the offense hasn't been on the field. 3 times as many plays for Oklahoma in this second half as Oklahoma State. And as the deficit grows, so too does the reliance on the passing game and the minimizing of what Chuba Hubbard can do for you.
Unless you can get him involved in the passing game, right? In the screen game, you still got to get the ball in your home run hitter's hands.
They do here. David Agwebu playing one of his best games. True freshman at Katy, Texas, has another tackle.
I think I must say his best game.
Yeah.
Right, and he was getting a bunch of opportunities, and I think like a lot of freshmen hit a little bit of a wall, but now down the closing stretch, he's playing really well tonight.
Hubbard on the ground. Stopped by Radley Hiles. Now double-figure tackles for the nickel. Hubbard in the first half, 16 carries for 79 yards. He's got just 20 yards on 5 carries since the break.
Not many touches, not many chances. That's what dominant run teams do to you. Just shorten the game and limit your opportunities offensively.
9.5 left to go. 3rd and 2 for Oklahoma State. Back to Chuba. Didn't get it. 4th and 1. And Agwebu again was in there.
Agwebu sets the edge, and then the rest of those Sooners can fly. That's just really what was not happening the last month of this season or so. Nobody really winning on that edge, setting the edge, and then letting the rest of the team's speed come and finish.
That's what they're supposed to be under Alex Grinch and his speed D. Oklahoma State taking a long time to get these calls in. Down 3 scores, 8:40 to go on 4th and 1. It's Hubbard, and he stops short. Bonito and Murray both in there. And with 8:36 left to go, Oklahoma takes over on downs.
Well, Oklahoma State has done this a few times, and that's all 3 of their big cowboy backs. But the problem, we talk about setting that edge and then the team pursuit coming to finish. Watch this. You set the edge outside, and then you allow the rest of the Sooners to come and finish. And not only set the edge, does Bonito, he's unblocked. I mean, that just cannot happen in that situation. You've got to get a hat on a hat and win that edge first. And if Lincoln Riley liked his defense at halftime, as he told Bruce Feldman, he loves what he's seeing in this second half. This is back to the Sooner ball they were playing the first 7 weeks.
When the story was all about the huge turnaround from last season, when they were the worst defense in the Big 12, really the last couple years.
And it was complimentary football.
Handed off to Kennedy Brooks. Big hole over the left side of that line behind Proctor and Hayes again, but there is a flag down. Taking care of business, 45-15 over Colorado to run their record to 11-1 going into the Pac-12 championship next weekend. Drew Brown to throw on first down right before he gets drilled. Delivers for Stoner, but out of bounds, and it's 2nd and 10. What do you think the equation is for the Sooners to get in? There's a flag down, by the way. Been a lot of those lately.
Well, today helped them big time with Alabama losing and getting that second loss. They got to finish this game over the final 6 minutes. Got to finish Baylor. That goes without saying, period, end of story, and win this Big 12. But then you need, either a Utah or Clemson loss.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 96. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's on Caleb Kelly. The 8th Oklahoma penalty tonight. You can understand some of the boiling frustration from Lincoln Riley you saw a moment ago.
Yep.
So you think that if Utah wins and Oklahoma wins, Utah's getting in?
I think because of the strength of what they've done over the course of the entire season.
Brown pumping short and going long. On Stoner again. The wind grabbing a hold of that. Pulling it out of bounds, 2nd and 10.
I mean, those are the debates, and those are the debates they've been having already, and that Lincoln Riley listens 0 to. Absolutely 0, zip, zilch. Okay, but you're going to need LSU to win. You need chalk to win at the top, right? LSU and Ohio State win. I think Clemson's going to take care of business, so that really becomes about Oregon and Utah, which I do think will be a highly contested game.
Lone loss for Oklahoma at Kansas State. Lone loss for Utah at USC, which has looked better and better as the season has gone on. Now, I think Oklahoma's resume has also looked better and better. Baylor now looks like the real deal. And if Lincoln Riley's team wins next week, and we're having this discussion for real, they're going to have 2 wins against what will be a top 15 Baylor team. They're going to have a win against Oklahoma State. There's a good chance they'll be top 25 still. Iowa State moved into the top 25 recently. And so the full body of work, I know Utah has done it handily, but the teams that Oklahoma will have beaten, I think, stack up very favorably against the teams that Utah will have beaten.
Yeah, this November could hardly have gone any better for Oklahoma. With Oregon losing, with Alabama losing, with Baylor continuing to win and be dominant, be number 8, I believe, in the committee's rankings come Tuesday, all of those things.
Stoner for a first down.
But these final 4 minutes and 54 seconds matter too. Like, you've got to close this game out. And, you know, I like having this conversation, great conversation. But as this season has evolved and this defense has had a hard time stringing consistency together for the last 5 weeks, finish this one first.
Not counting your eggs before they hatch. Hubbard moving over 100 yards. It's been tough sledding since a really good first quarter for him. But he does again reach 100 yards, and he's done so in 14 of his 16 career starts.
By the way, speaking about that rematch with Baylor, that's going to be tremendous theater, because Baylor defensively was and has been really good other than the second half against Oklahoma.
Brown scrambling around on 2nd and 5. They're tripped up by guess who? David Agwebu. Officially his best game as a Sooner.
And that sack is just going to continue to knock a bunch of this precious time off the clock.
Inside 4 minutes now. Sooners twist up front, and Agwebu flushes him off his spot. He got rid of it just in time, and Brown was open, but the throw was low. 4th and 10.
And this is as active as we have seen these guys. Right, this defense, and I love the way Alex Grinch kind of said it to us over the last few weeks. There's been some scar tissue over the last 3-4 years as that group has struggled a bunch. And I think the first 7 weeks hid some of that. Conference play has brought some of it about, but this has been one of their most consistent efforts in the last 5 weeks. Flying around, playing that speed D, creating some of that chaos the system's built to do.
4th and 10, last gasp for Brown and the Cowboys. He's chased, he throws. Intercepted. Parnell Motley thought he'd gotten one during the first half. It was overturned. This one, it appears, will be good. And Oklahoma is going to beat Oklahoma State for the 5th consecutive time. College football is sponsored by State Farm. Talk to an agent today. Parnell Motley, forced fumble, fumble recovery, and an interception as we take a look at our TireRack.com game summary.
And when you're a senior playing your final rivalry game, one you've dominated, you love to go out and finish it strong. Exactly what Parnell has done. Forced the fumble earlier, almost had an interception. We thought it was interception, got overturned, and then ultimately that dagger on 4th down.
Stevenson, first carry of the night for Ramondre, and it is a big one. Ramondre Stevenson to the 23. A run of 49.
Well, he averages 7.9 on the season. He's also #1 in America at 6.5 yards after contact. Both of those numbers going to go way up. He had a huge 3rd down conversion early in this game on a curl route.
Like a split end.
Yes, 15-yard curl route last week. He blocked his tail off to set up Kennedy Brooks. Everybody getting in on their action and developing their own roles, which is so cool over the course of the season.
Running game gonna final line be impressive again. 39 rushes for 273 for Oklahoma. 1st and 10, 2.5 left. Stevenson again. He'll take this one. Back-to-back big runs, although a flag flies in late.
54, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Goes on Hayes, who drew the ire of Lincoln Riley last drive.
He did. He just got his hands outside the frame. This time he just pretty clear and obvious pull. He loses off the snap, right? And it's that tug right there. It takes 6 off the board and a touchdown away from Stevenson. Just got to move your feet, big fella. And he's been so active with Proctor in their polling game, right? That guard tackle pull game. That time in their zone concept, just, yep. Lincoln's like, gotta be kidding me.
Well, running the clock, yes, but looking for style points too. Not gonna get any there. Brock Martin makes the tackle. Next Saturday, Justin Fields coming off a 4-touchdown game today in that 56-27 win. Leads Ohio State into the Big Ten Championship against Wisconsin, with coverage starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox.
And that was a matchup we saw earlier this year that Ohio State just totally dominated.
I think that's when everybody said, whoa, these guys are on another level.
And then you watch today and they just dominate again. And they really did it the way that Oklahoma's doing it tonight. To me, Fields was awesome with 4 touchdowns. Again, just 1 interception the whole year, but it was the big fellas and J.K. Dobbins that took the game over this morning.
Stevenson steps out of a tackle, then stumbles to the 29. Gus and Joel and Jenny will have that one for you. Dobbins had a big game in the first meeting, had a huge game today, over 200 yards. Ohio State has a few players you can make a Heisman case for, Fields and Young and Dobbins.
And if I remember right, in that matchup, Wisconsin was like #1 in the country defensively. They had just given up almost nothing, like 4 points a game the first 4 or 5 games out, and then just got hammered by a team that was so much faster and stronger. That'll be a real challenge for Paul Chris, but kudos to them to go up to Minneapolis and win today.
Jaden Hazelwood for a gain of 5, and 4th down coming up here inside a minute. Speaking of defense, I think it's worth mentioning Oklahoma's defense again. Last 2.5 games now, they've given up a total of 3 touchdowns. Injured players Harvell Peel. They shut out Baylor in the second half, allowing them to come from behind. Biggest comeback win in program history. They held TCU to 2 offensive touchdowns last week, and just the 1 touchdown on the very first drive tonight. You hope obviously nothing serious for Colby Harvell Peel. Breakout star this season, All-American candidate. Have some time to heal up before the bowl game.
He has been so good on the back end of that defense, and will be for the next few years here. Lincoln Riley knew what he was up against. That was a red-hot defense the last month, playing some very good ball, taking the ball away. But you talked about this Oklahoma defense, and any defensive coach will tell you their best friends is a complementary offense.
Well, this is weird. They just declared the game over. How about the old 48-second runoff to finish? That is weird. Well, I don't think the outcome was in question anymore, so it is what it is, and it is 34-16 Oklahoma, 11-1, headed to the Big 12 championship game with 1 more opportunity to make their case for the college football playoff.
Yeah, I think that's just because of the defender injury with the clock and then running it all the way down in a game that was obviously decided. One that Mike Gundy was not taking his time out, said he's going to tip his cap to these Sooners. They were frankly the much better team in that second half.
Let's go down to Bruce.
Thanks, Joe. Lincoln, this is always a hot rivalry. What was different? What was the difference for you guys today?
I thought our defense played really well, especially there in the second half. You know, the turnovers that we got obviously were huge parts of the game, and then able to run the ball pretty well again offensively.
You guys have been to the playoff the last few years. How critical is it at this point to make a statement to the committee about what you're doing, not just win, but win impressively?
I don't know. You know, our recipe has just been winning. You know, whether it's by 1, whether it's by 40, whatever it is, you have to win big games in November. We've been able to do that the last several years, put ourselves in position. We've done it again, and we're going to go try to win another one next week.
What was different about the defense tonight, you think?
I think getting the turnovers was big, you know, and then we never really let Hubbard just get completely loose, which that was the focus going in. We knew he had the ability to take it 60-70, and we did a pretty good job keeping him from doing that.
A few weeks ago, you had a roller coaster ride with Baylor and Waco. How does this matchup shape up next week?
Oh, it'll be fun. They got a great team. They played extremely well. You know, you're right. We had a great game with them in Waco. Certainly looking forward to getting down to Arlington, doing it again.
All right, thanks, Coach. Joe, back to you.
All right, Bruce, and trying to do the same trick they've done a few times over the last few years. 2015, his first season in Norman. He was the OC. They lose to Texas. They win 7 straight to go to the playoff. 2017, they lose to Iowa State. They win 8 straight, make the playoff. And last year, they lose to Texas, win 7 straight to make the playoff. Trying to follow the loss to Kansas State with 5 in a row to do it again. 34-16 the final. Back with more post-game coverage after this. Jalen Hurts celebrating a win in his only Bedlam game. 34-16 the final score. We welcome it back inside. They move to 11-1. They do it again on the ground.
Yeah, if you would have said before the game Jalen Hurts just has 220 total yards, a guy that averages nearly 400 a game, you said, I don't know if they're going to find a way to win this. Yeah. But you know what? It was the rest of the guys. It was Kennedy Brooks. It was that O-line. It was some really good complementary defense. But this running game has been the championship November run for the Sooners this year. Right? It was 70% a week ago against TCU, and it was about that tonight. And it was in different varieties. CD got a couple touches on jet sweeps. Jalen got his, both on some passes, some designed runs. Yeah, and here was CD Lamb's little creativity on the jet sweep. But Lincoln Riley said, I don't really care about the passing numbers. I don't really care about some of those style points. If we got to run the football to beat TCU and run it 61 times, we will. And if you got to do the same on a windy night in Stillwater in a rivalry game because you're owning the point of attack, they will. And I think that says something about this head coach and coordinator.
And they did 44 runs for 283 yards, and you said going to be some good theater against Baylor in the rematch next week.
Yeah, because Baylor's very different. Baylor is the one team in this league, and every coach we've talked to, I think we've seen just about everybody in the Big 12 this year, and they all say the same thing. Baylor is violent. Baylor can dominate with 3 people. They really did against Oklahoma in that first half, and it took the greatest comeback in the history of Sooner football to beat them in Waco the first time.
You know, they'll be licking their chops at a rematch, Baylor will, as Oklahoma tries to win a 5th consecutive conference title.
Fascinating psychology in that one, too. Like, who has the legitimate advantage going in? But, yeah, it's going to be, I think, a phenomenal football game, you know, as were a bunch of these for Oklahoma in this month of November.
Congratulations on your first year at Fox.
That went fast.
It did, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, this game kind of went fast as that clock was running.
We'd like you back for another year.
We'll do it.
I hope the bosses actually want him back, because I think I just offered him another year. Yes. All right, this is a fun one tonight in Stillwater. Oklahoma wins it and moves to 11-1. They've won 5 consecutive Bedlam games now, and they'll look for a 5th consecutive conference championship next week. 34-16 the final. Be sure to tune in to Fox tomorrow for a full slate of NFL action, highlighted by Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens at 1 Eastern. So long from Stillwater, where Oklahoma tops Oklahoma State.